Hello everyone. I am excited to be here. I'm coming live a little bit late. I just got off the phone. It was an interesting call and conversation, one that was unexpected. And I found it quite fascinating how your intuition, especially as you do this inner work, guides you and you feel when things are not right and you feel it very quickly. And something inside of you says, slow down. Let's take a look at this and let's sit with this. Because so often when you're rushed and pushed into things that aren't right for you, you make decisions that you end up regretting. And part of the healing journey is to be able to slow down and really sit with what's being presented to you and know that nothing good happens fast. So I just had an experience with that, and I'm still like, oh my gosh, I need to go. I got to get inside my group where we feel safe and connected. I wanted to share something with you as you're going on this journey of healing from past pain and taking that past pain through the journey of healing. Sometimes sitting with it, sometimes knowing when to leave it, sometimes knowing when to not do anything at all with it, because sometimes that's the very pushing kind of energy and feeling where you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do something with this and I have to do something with this right now. And that can cause you to kind of go into a really negative headspace and place within yourself and your body, and cause you to begin to question and gaslight yourself, and cause you to not be in a good space. And this is all about coming out of that bad space and moving into a much better space for yourself, for you, and for everyone else. So with that, I wanted to share with you something I heard this morning, actually a conversation that I had with my daughter. And children are so beautiful. Remember, you were once a child, and even though you're no longer a child, you're still just as beautiful and whole as you were then. We come into this world enough as we are, not needing to change or fix or do anything, simply because we existed as our birthright to know, feel, and believe that we are enough as we are. And that is so the truth about all of us and who we are, no matter where you are, no matter what you've been through, or no matter what's been done to you. And I wanted to share this analogy with you today. This Not an avid golfer, but I do golf. Actually, when I was married to the first narcissist, everything had to be everything else that other people would be jealous of. We were the Joneses, right? That beautiful couple that was perfect and had everything. So we lived on a golf course and we hit a lot of these. I took lessons from a professional, and this is, if you don't know what it is a golf ball. It's one I haven't hit for a very long time. But the analogy that I heard this morning was so soothing and so fitting. If you look really closely at the golf ball, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's not smooth. It's got all these dimples and all these rivets, all these little dips in it. Each place where that hole is a divot. And when I hold it up and I look from the reflection, I can see it's like divot, 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 divot. A golf ball is not perfectly round, and it's not perfectly round on purpose. And someone said, well, if it were perfectly round, wouldn't that make more sense that it would be more smooth and it would go through the air further faster, right? Because especially if you're playing at the professional level, you want your shot to go longer and you want it to be more accurate. And as you hit the golf ball, it goes through the air, and you want it to go the direction that you're hitting it, not off course, much like our lives, right? We've got this course that our lives are on, and we want to stay the course, because when we do, we get there further, we get there faster, we get there with more ease. We don't need to end up hitting shots out of the trees, right? And out of the sand and out of the gravel, and end up quote unquote losing the game. You can't really lose the game of life, because we're all playing it, and they're really just a destination and a journey. But the better that this goes straight, the better you play the game, right? But you feel about yourself with each shot you take. If it goes straight and it goes far, depending on the shot, right? There are some shots where you don't want them to go far because you'll overshoot it. So really dialing in on the accuracy of your shot, right? And that's what really giving yourself this time and space as you go through this journey to do allows you to do. Really dial in, what club do I need? If I'm on the green and I'm about to hit it, and then I can see the flag right there, I'm not going to pull out my driver. So really knowing, right? And we can use that metaphor and analogy as, what tools am I going to use to get what I want and to go where I want to go, so that I can continue and move forward and feel really, really good about it, right? So we're always trying our best. And sometimes our best is just laying in bed that day, not trying to push out, not trying to like hit this in the hole when you're on the green with the driver, right? So knowing what to do when, and that's part of this understanding yourself and really deeply connecting with yourself and using the tools that you have inside the program to allow you to get to that space. But if you take a look at this golf ball, there are divots on it. It's not smooth and it's not round because there was actually an article and a study, and an engineer did a study that showed the difference. Because of all these dimples and all these quote unquote imperfections and divots and dents on the ball, a golf ball like this goes twice as far when it's hit in the air versus a ball that's completely smooth and round on the outside. So all these dimples and divots and dents actually have a purpose, and they make the ball go go straighter and go further when hit. So this is much like our lives. We can feel dented, we can feel like we've got imperfections, we've got divots in us, we've got dents in us, but it's those very things that allow us to go further and to go there more accurately and stay the course and not go off into the trees and the rocks and all of that. So it's actually these imperfections, right? If you look at this and you say, well, it's not perfect. A perfect ball would be nice and round and smooth. If you were to take that and hit it, it wouldn't go as far and it wouldn't be as accurate. It would take more effort to get to where you want to go without all these dense divots and imperfections. And this beautiful metaphor and analogy is much like us in our lives. So you may look at yourself and you may see that you're not round and you're not smooth and you're not quote unquote perfect, that you've got dents, you've got divots, you've got imperfections, right? I've hit this a couple times and you can see it's kind of dirty right there. But it doesn't mean that we're not as good as something that's smooth. In fact, it's because of these things that we can go further and we can take more accurate shots, that we can stay the course because of the dense divots and imperfections. And this analogy is so true with our own lives, right? Because we've taken that past pain and we've done what we need to do with it to heal it, to transform it, and given ourselves these learnings and these lessons and these opportunities to grow and to expand. It's because of those that we're able to stay the course and get more out of life and to go further and to go there in a better way and at a better pace as fast with us. We're not just sitting there chopping and chopping, shouldn't be frustrated anymore. Of course, there's situations in life where we kind of experience that, but it's these dense divots and imperfections or perceived imperfections that actually make us who we are. And who we are is unique, is special, is good enough just as we are, really truly doesn't need to change, because this golf ball could say, I'm not perfect, I don't want to be smooth, I want to change, I want to be smooth, because then I will go further and I'll look better. But that's actually not true. It's not true at all. And another analogy that I wanted to share with you is really, really cool. This is what I talked to my daughter about this morning. The story goes, there was a little boy, and the little boy was kind of walking down in the ravine. They lived in woods, like in the mountains, in the woods. And he was out walking one day, and he said, hello. And he heard, hello. And he said, who is that? And he heard, who is that? And he heard, why are you copying me? Why are you copying me? And anything he said, he would hear repeated back, and he thought someone was messing with them. And he knew his dad was out close, and so he said, Dad! And he heard, Dad! And then his dad found him, and he was like, what are you doing, son? And then the little boy asked, why are you copying me, Dad? And he said, what are you talking about? And he said, I would say hello, and you would say hello. And I'd say, Dad, and you'd say, Dad, and I'd say, why are you copying me? And you'd say, why are you copying me? And he started laughing, and he goes, no, son, that wasn't me. And the little boy asked, well, then what was it? I know I heard it. And he said, that's called an echo. That's called an echo. What you say, what you put out comes back to you. It's repeated to you. And he said, watch this. And the dad said out loud, I am amazing. And then he heard, I am amazing. And he said, I am awesome. Then he heard, I am awesome, because of the echo. And then the dad continued on, I'm stupid. And he heard, I'm stupid. I suck. And he heard, I suck. And he said, see, son, it's an echo. What you put out comes back to you. What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself because of the dents and the divots and the perceived imperfections? Are you saying, I'm disgusting? Are you hearing back, I'm disgusting? Are you saying, who would want me? Look at me. And hearing, who would want me? Look at me. You see, what you give out comes back to you. And a lot of us, we perceive that because we're not smooth and we're not, pretty and solid and smooth, because we're dented, imperfect, we've got divots in us, we've got mud on us, we want to change, we want to be different. And we say things to ourselves, and anything we say to ourselves comes back to us. So what are you saying to yourself? Are you telling yourself, I am enough just as I am? And hearing, I am enough just as I am? Are you saying to yourself, I've got this? And hearing, I've got this? Or are you saying other things to yourself? Hearing them. And what you say, you hear, you feel. What you put out comes back to you. And it impacts you. A lot of us can get stuck in the cycle of saying, this is never going to change. This is never going to change. And then you feel helpless, hopeless, worthless. Like there's nothing you can do about it. Because that's what you said, that's what you heard, and that's what came into you. And then something else comes out of you. Oh my God, I suck. They were right. There's nothing I can do. And that's what you're putting out, and you hear back, they were right, I suck, there's nothing I can do. And it impacts again the way you feel. And then it impacts your mood, the way you go about doing things throughout your day. It impacts and influences everything. So keeping that in mind, those two stories, how are you going to choose to live your life? You get to choose the words you use. What ones are you choosing? Because the ones that you choose, they go out and they come back to you and you hear them and they become a part of your experience in that moment. And that moment impacts the next moment, and that moment impacts the following moment, and that moment impacts the next and the next and the next. And every interaction you have, every engagement you have in all of your relationships, beginning with the one you have with yourself. So what are you saying? What are you echoing for yourself? And how is that impacting everything you do and the way that you perceive things? I want to be different. I want to be a smooth ball because then I'll be prettier. Or are you seeing these as the things that will take you further in life? And staying more in alignment with the direction that you want your life to go. So that is what I have for you this week. And I want you to allow that to sink in. And realize that sometimes when you find yourself saying something negative to yourself, you may not realize, oh my God, I heard it echoed back to me. Because it leaves our mouth and it enters our ears. And it leaves our mouth and it enters our ears. And sometimes we don't even have to let it leave our mouth. It just stays inside our head. So it feels like a ping pong. One ear to the other. And that's why we feel like we get stuck in negativity. Stuck in toxicity. Because we literally are. Because we're keeping it in. We're afraid to speak up and share and use our voice. And we don't let it out. And it wouldn't matter. It doesn't need to go out to come back in. Sometimes it just gets stuck within. And that's where the power of that first exercise inside the program has a tremendous impact. It makes the biggest difference. You can see and identify the distortions and the kinks in your thoughts, your patterns of speech, your patterns of talk, your patterns of behavior, and then all the other powerful tools that you can use to change them. When you change what goes out, you change what comes in, you change everything. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I love, love, love connecting with you guys inside this program. And remember that this was perfectly engineered and designed, and so were you. All right, you guys, much love to all of you. I'll see you very soon.